All right, different day, but already I am seeing a little bit difficulties with this. It's not necessarily the frame's fault. I have a Brother sewing machine, and the bobbin is on the top of here instead of on the side, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to change out this bobbin from time to time, but we will endure. Also, there is a separate foot that needs to be replaced from the regular foot. It's called a free flowing foot. It doesn't have any gripping on here. So this does need to be replaced on the machine as well. So let me go ahead and get that done before we start figuring out how to load this thing. Alright, figured it out. This needs to be screwed in here like this. The other one was removed. And I'm hoping you're seeing this. See if I can't. Nope. Maybe finger tighten it a little bit. We'll get it. But we want this as high as possible because the thickness of the blanket is going to go straight through here. Don't mind the air conditioner in the background. It's still hot here. But from the examples that I am seeing and the instructions, we have to roll the quilt from bottom to top with the top side facing. Now this is going to be longer. And this blanket is going to be longer than the frame itself, so I'm going to have to do this in sections. And this thing's been sitting in a corner for quite a while. So this is going to be all nice and wrinkled and difficult at best. Now I do have my backing here. We're going to take these off. Actually, the sides need to come off. The front needs to come off. So you have all these. And because this is going to be loaded and rolling up in the hoop, it can't go underneath the holders. The holders are there to hold the loop so you can roll this. This is from what I can understand in the instructions. And make sure all 3 layers are nice in a row, and then start clamping. May actually order more of these clamps just to be able to have them in between here. which would be a good idea. Some of these smaller clamps right in between these. So that would be an added purchase. Now the trick is to get the I don't know if you can see this, is to get the blanket underneath the sewing part so we can go ahead and stretch that out. So the trick is to get this to go under and thread that through to where this can be free flowing. Like I said, the bobbin replacement in this is going to be so much fun. I feel like there is extra clamps here somewhere, and I don't remember where I put them, because I have had a vacation since then. Aha! Found them. Remember these? I've got a feeling that these go there. And they're bigger because that's where all the extra is going to be going to. Just like backing. That. Ish. I do want to put these over here. There is no way we're going to be able to get this tight enough with these in here. I got to figure this out. But that's a lot better. Now, just to let you know that this is 4 feet and this is the halfway, and this right here is the middle part of the blanket. This right here. So I'm going to work on this side, go all the way down, and then come back and do this side and then come all the way down. It only seems logical to do it that way, but I also do want to go ahead and do like a top stitch over here, because I do want to go ahead and use kind of like bias tape to be able to get seal the edges, turn them under, and then sew them. I mean, it's a striped quilt, you might as well. So how we have this all nice and flowing. All this all nice and bouncy, all this nice and flowy. So now I get to introduce you to the patterns. You can buy these online on Amazon. You got swirly patterns, you've got a cube pattern. This is a snow flower. It's called a snow flower, but you can make flowers with these. This is one petal, and you just do it petal by petal by petal. Not on this project. Here is a heart border. You can do a border with this, you can make it the whole thing. Here is a swirly pattern. Or this is called a butterfly, but it's an X. It's just an X. We're going to go ahead and do the X. These also come with holders. So in your space, they get held in place just like that while you are moving the machine around. So I moved it over. I've got like a whole bunch over here, but that's good. That's the reason why I put extra batting, extra backing, everything. Made the 2 layers underneath a lot bigger than the top layer because I wanted room, just because, you know, mistakes happen. And mistakes happen a lot with me. Now we have this a lot closer to the edge over here. This is about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, which is fine because I'm going to go ahead and flip that over as well whenever I finish the quilt. And then they'll have this whole strip up here and the whole strip on the bottom to be able to turn under. Now, there is a lot of room over here. I did this on purpose. Okay, you do want at least a foot on either side, so that way the frame can catch. Your workspace is going to be a lot smaller than the frame because of all the heavy equipment. This is as far as this will go. Alright, so let's go ahead and test this out. Pray that I have bobbins and make sure it's on the correct setting. Which I want it on a number 2, which is straight center. Check with your sewing manual for whatever setting you want. Right now we're just going to do a straight stitch. Oh. I'm guessing it wants the foot down. That is a little too low. So we need to raise that up as much as we can to get it to free flow. As this will not move without it. And I have one of those picky machines where you cannot sew with the foot up. It will sit there and it will error out. It keeps giving me an E1 error every time. So I have to do what I can. I have to stretch this out just a little bit. That's a little bit better. It's going to take me a little bit of practice to get straight lines. And I know this is not as taught as needed. Oh, it's doing it itself. Look at that. I'm not forcing it. It's going by itself. Hey. It's not straight. But that's cool. So I totally screwed up on the beginning of that stitch. Let's go ahead and make it a little bit faster. I'm guessing this is the reason why we need this to be perfectly straight. and taut and level and everything else like that. Let's try moving it down a little bit. This is the reason why this is a throwaway blanket. This is an experiment. There we go. So much better. Definitely a learning curve. But this whole frame is actually moving. The platform is actually moving. The frame is staying still, but the platform is moving. And somebody is very interested. Yeah. But holding the camera like this and trying to get a straight stitch and everything all nice and neat and stuff like that is nearly impossible. I've gone to the end of where I can go. I still have this much left over, but I will get that whenever I start working on this. It looks like I'm going to have to do this in three stages instead of two. Yeah, this side, that side, in the middle. That's okay. The stitches I forced it to do versus the stitches I let it do. And because I was holding the camera, I kind of bunched up a little bit up here. But like I said, this is a throwaway blanket. Number one, it's hot in here. And number two, not bad. This moves by itself, which surprises me. So let me go ahead and get everything reset. We'll start with the X's, or they want to call them butterflies. It's not an authentic quilt without a little bit of cat fur. Now I do have the frame in here. Let's see how this works. I figured out how to make a straight stitch, kind of, sort of. So let's go ahead and see what this does. All right. I'm gonna have to hold this. Excuse me. Cat. Cat, really? It's not going any further than that. Now my other sewing machine has a bigger deck on it. Alright, so I am running into an issue where this can go as far as forward as this will go. It won't do this. So I'm just going to do lines on this quilt. But my other deck has more room between the back of the machine to the needle. And I will also be looking for machines that have a bigger girth here as well. So I can go ahead and actually do these. But for now, I'm just going to do lines and get this quilt done and over with, because it's been sitting in a corner for way too long. It happens. So, and it's hot in here. So I'll just go ahead and make straight lines. Might as well. It took me 3 hours to figure out how to load it, figure out how to get the lines in, as many lines as I could. Because of my workspace, I wasn't able to use the templates. But I'm getting better the more I get into it. But I am still having problems with the tension. So that's something I am going to need to work on. This is the reason why I have a junk quilt. This is to learn on. So that way, you know, if I want to do queen size, I know what errors I'm going to have. Now, things that I've learned so far in these first 3 hours. Number one, if you don't have your clamps down correctly, your already work is going to fold under the machine to where you're going to be sewing the two together and get your seam ripper out so you can undo it from itself. Yeah, that was comical. Number two, I don't have the right sewing machine. All right, definitely need to find something a little bit more compatible. This will work, but not for something this size. This is too bulky. And pro tip, load your bobbins. I've already had to preload a couple of bobbins because once it runs out, it's a lot faster to just swap it out than it is to have to wind another bobbin and reload. It takes a lot longer than that, and it depending on the height of your table, it can actually hurt your back. Now the clamps that it came with this, these clamps, they're great if you have a small project. But if you have a big project like this, get yourself something that actually has handles. It'll still hold the fabric down, but these are a lot harder to get off of this bar than it looks. So you're going to need something that'll, you know, be a lot easier to pull up and pull down, pull up and pull down, pull up and pull down, so that way, whenever you're scrolling through your quilt, it'll be a lot faster, because these are for smaller projects, honestly. Now, I've only got half of one side done. 3 hours. I can do this whole thing in one day if I start at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'll probably be done by dinner time with breaks. But it is draining me and hurting my back. I don't have this at the right height that I need it to be. So I am going to go ahead and stop for now. I'll finish up the quilt later on. But learning the technical faults and everything of new equipment that you've never used before, you kind of want to do a dry run first before you do any type of fancy anything like a junk quilt. Thank you for joining. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.